at 8 a.m. Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. This meeting is being broadcast live on the Town of Lexington's YouTube channel, as also available on the viewing on the Town Information Channel 1301. Speakers are asked to sign in the sign-in sheet, identify yourself and your address, and please speak into the microphone. I'm Frank Berry, your chairman of the Town of Lexington Planning Commission. Other Planning Commission members are
Jarrett Harrelson.
Good morning, Sammy Hendricks.
Good morning, I'm Brian Amick.
Morning, Roscoe Kaufman.
Jeannie Michaels.
Good morning, I'm Jamie Fight.
Good morning, Joe Robertson.
Good morning, JT Stevenson.
Britt Poole, Town Administrator.
Good morning, I'm Brad Cunningham, Town Attorney.
At this time, I'll ask Commissioner Michaels if she'd lead us in our morning invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, your wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. In your Son's name, amen.
If you will, please join me in pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, first item of business is, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and there's no deletions or additions to our agenda. Attached, you have your meetings from last month's meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. We have no public presentations, no old business. We're going to get straight into new business. Item number 1, sketch plan approval for new townhome patio home subdivision on Carlin Avenue.
Morning, thank you. Land Tech has submitted a sketch plan for a new subdivision being planned on 25.3 acres on Carlin Avenue. This is a subdivision you all have seen before. It's been revised since previous submittals. The plan includes 84 townhomes, 43 single-family patio homes, and 22 duplexes. Patio homes will be front-loaded on 40-foot wide lots. The townhomes will be alley-loaded on 20-foot wide lots, and the duplexes will be front-loaded on 24-foot wide lots. The allowable density of residential development is determined by the zoning classification of the property. If the property is rezoned to PR2 as recommended by the Commission in February, the allowable density would be 8 units per acre. This development will have 5.8 units per acre. Properties with PR2 zoning do not have a minimum lot size if the homes can meet the lot width, setback, and driveway requirements. The submitted plan shows the townhomes with 15-foot front yard setbacks because they're alley loaded, 10-foot rear yard setbacks, and 7-foot side setbacks between buildings. This is an increase over what you looked at on this previously. The patio homes will have a 25-foot front yard setbacks, 20-foot rear setbacks, and 5-foot side setbacks, also a change since the previous submittal. The duplex units will have 25-foot front yard setbacks, 10-foot rear yard setbacks, and 7-foot side setbacks between buildings. The plan shows that all units will meet the on-site parking requirement. There will also be 36 guest parking spaces in various locations around the development. Land development ordinance requires 25%, that's also an increase from the previous submittal, of the site to be reserved as open space, with 50% of that space being improved active recreation space with developed recreation amenities. The submitted plan shows 7.6 acres of open space with 3.4 acres of active open space. To be compliant with the ordinance, the project needs 6.3 acres of open space and 3.4 acres of active open space. The active open space provided includes 3 park areas, a playground area, 2 dog parks, and a wet detention pond for recreational use. Access to the development will occur through 2 full entrances and an alley from Carlin Avenue. The project location is bordered, some of the considerations, the project location is bordered by a railroad track and an industrial area. A 44-foot buffer is provided between the subdivision and the industrial area, and there is at least, it was difficult to determine exactly, but it was at least 30 feet of buffer between the railroad track and the development, with the dog park and a roadway in between the first house and the railroad track.
Okay.
Mr. Steelman is here to answer any questions, or if you have any questions for me.
And as John said, and we discussed, this project was, we had previously approved this project, and then there were some changes to our ordinances, and those ordinances have been met or exceeded, if I'm not overspeaking.
Yes, this project was approved by the Planning Commission in February or March, and we went through a rewrite of some of the requirements, mainly dealing with setbacks, increasing setbacks, and
Open space.
Buffer.
requiring a 15-foot buffer around it, and also increasing the green space. And this project has been revised to meet those new requirements.
Okay.
It also, the original one we looked at had 178 units. This one has 149.
Yeah, which changes the access points, yeah.
Yeah, right. There's 2 full accesses. There was an issue with the previous one too, so.
Mr. Stillman, would you like to say anything, or would you like us to? Okay. Anybody got any questions of the developer?
No questions, but just wanted to make a statement. Thank you for making all the revisions. I know it was a lot of different changes. It was difficult when you came back, but we really appreciate it.
Hear nothing? Do I have a motion?
Move for approval?
I have a motion for approval.
Second.
Got a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Thank you, Kevin, again, too, for working with staff and us on getting it right. Item number 2, rezoning of Lexington County Tax Map number 5418040007, located on Christie Street, protected residential to limited commercial.
Carolina Can Coolers has submitted a request to rezone a parcel located behind 217 Backman Street and behind 130 Christie Street. It's kind of a corner lot area. The request is to rezone the property from protected residential to limited commercial. This particular parcel has no direct road frontage, but the applicant is requesting to rezone the property to allow it to be used as part of the printing business being proposed at 130 Christie Street. Properties adjacent to this one are zoned protected residential, and 130 Christie Street is zoned limited commercial currently. The future land use map and the comprehensive plan shows this parcel as residential. I don't believe there is anybody here to speak on behalf of this.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to decline the rezoning due to it sitting in the middle of a residential area.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Wait a minute now. We got a motion and a
It's second.
second on the floor.
It's done.
I have to withdraw the motion somehow.
I'll withdraw the motion, let the applicant speak.
Want to speak, or if y'all have any questions?
If you would, when you, please state your name and address and
Carla Griffin. I am the realtor for the property, and the property is at 130 Christie. So, the buyer is here, and I do have the approval where there are 2 lots, and they became 1 lot. I don't know if you guys have but it was approved to become one lot.
Who gave that approval?
I have a copy. Do you want a copy?
Tax assessor.
So this is attaching to the Backman Street lot?
So here's the Backman lot, and here's the back lot.
Right, so it's connecting here.
Yes, this
Yeah,
is
that doesn't,
landlocked.
that doesn't change the zoning classification of the
right.
property, yes. The parcels are connected, but it doesn't change the rezone.
So they are having a printing business there, and since that other lot is now part of it, and I do know that it's a split zoning, but we were hoping that it could just become one zoning. Because it's landlocked back there.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to? All right, anybody else, or do I have a motion?
I make a motion to decline, as stated previously. The back lot portion buffers the residential area.
Got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? We do want to say that, as Vice Chairman Harrelson said, that this is in the middle of a residential area, and we just keep creeping into that residential area, and that's not something that we want to do here at the town. So, that being said, all in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you all very much. Item number 3, annexing Lexington County Tax Map 5300020014, located at 1059 Bonham Richard Road.
Capital Concrete Company owns approximately 12.4 acres on 3 parcels located at 1059 Bonham Richard Road and has petitioned to annex the property. I think that might be it. Actually, that's one parcel, 12.4 acres on one parcel. A concrete plan is located on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned protected residential 2, and Bonham Richard Road is classified as a collector road. Due to the use of the property, the recommended zoning for this parcel is industrial, and the recommended classification of Bonham Richard Road is a collector.
And no one's here to speak on behalf of that as well. All right. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve to annex,
As stated?
as stated, yes.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Unanimous. Item number 4. Simple property subdivision of the Kmart Shopping Center located in the 1700 block of West Main Street.
And this is a proposal we've seen previously, but Mr. Ryan Maltba has submitted a request for a commercial property simple subdivision of the Kmart Shopping Center located at 748 West Main Street. The purpose of the request is to facilitate the redevelopment of the center. The effect of this will to be immediately allow the old Kmart building to convert to climate-controlled storage and create a new second-row parcel for the shopping center parking lot with the property currently used as shopping center parking lot. A sketch plan that included redevelopment of the Circle K parcel was reviewed and approved last summer. The new submittal no longer includes this or the other 2 parcels that front on West Main Street. Mr. Maltba is here to answer any questions.
Okay. I believe we have a few questions for the applicant. If you would come forward, please, sir. State your
I'm
name.
Ryan Malpa with Baker Commercial Properties. We're the property owner of the center there.
Okay. I know we have a few questions, clarification and things of that nature.
Mr. Moulton, what happened to the
what we approved in July on your original.
Right. So what we're asking for, the goal here was to allow for a more thoughtful redevelopment of the center. And the ability to do that is to, we weren't able to lose any parking if that was going to be a commercial center. To meet the parking requirements for any tenants, we're going to have to retain the entire parking lot as for parking. So we've been approached by a number of storage developers, and what we decided is this is an opportunity to put storage in the second or third row and recapture that parking lot closer to the frontage and redevelop that. It would also bring the opportunity to, at the time of that meeting, I had an offer in my hand from Circle K who wanted to buy a strip of land so they could build their new prototype. That was the example. I couldn't accept their offer as long as that building stayed a commercial center. As long as I couldn't lose any parking. I couldn't offer, and so without this subdivision, those out parcels will have to stay where they are, and everything will stay in its current condition because we can't lose any of that parking to meet the 100,000 square foot facility. After the approval, we've been working with our storage buyer to close on that piece and subdivide that building. We accepted the offer from Circle K. And as Circle K submitted their drawings to us, they determined during their due diligence period that due to the traffic light moving at that intersection, they wanted to hold off and see what the impact of that would be on their store long-term before they invested whatever to redevelop that center. So that's what changed on their end. On our end, our goals, motivations, and the benefits of the subdivision still remain in place. This presents the opportunity to develop, we would end up with 3 1/3 acres closer to the street that we could redevelop more thoughtfully instead of having a sea of asphalt and some discount retail in the back. This gives us opportunity that when our out parcels that we own, the Maurices and the Kessners, when those leases expire, we can then either combine those with ours, and we just have a lot more flexibility to develop something more thoughtful closer to the street instead of a big box, ever-evolving retail center. Since then, we've had conversations with the tenants on the out parcels we control, and I can't continue those conversations unless I know that we have something to offer or do. And I've had conversations with prospects who would love to be on 3 acres closer to the street and not set back that far, but I can't advance those conversations in its current configuration. So the change has been that I accepted the offer to Circle K. They determined they weren't prepared at this time to move forward with their plans. So that is the change. Everything else remains the same.
Okay. Anything else?
How about the signage that was approved? What do you intend on doing about that since that goes away?
Good question. So part of so the change is Circle K won't be buying this strip from us, and so therefore the town wouldn't be able to enforce on them a new configuration of their access points. However, with ours, it didn't change. That center access drive aisle, we've committed to converting that to a right-in, right-out with a landscaped median, and in the center of that pork chop would be a new signage that would serve both the storage and whatever we did in the second row. So it would start to clean up some of the signage along that strip and the access points. So we'd be able to convert one of the access points in the middle to right in, right out, and clean up the signage there into a nice pylon. And the example I presented back in July was one that staff recommended was the public shopping center located Yeah, where that has that big landscaped median and the nice pylon sign in the center. And that's what we would change the middle of that property to. That would happen immediately upon approval of the subdivision. So we could start that process. And then that would position us long-term to redevelop either the Maurices, Kessners in that lot in the center, which we hope will drive further changes to the access points and traffics, and hopefully a traffic light long-term at Topsider Court, which we would like to see.
John, how does that configuration with that signage, with the ordinance?
There are two sections of the sign ordinance that apply. One is one business on one lot. You build McDonald's on the corner, it's one business on one lot. Or there's a section on commercial centers. I think the effect of this request is that it not be used as a commercial center so that storage can be put in there. This proposal has a common signage easement that allows for the second and third row parcels to have signage on West Main Street, which would effect be to apply the commercial center signage requirements.
And if I might ask a
Yes, sir.
question. Ryan, in our discussion, you talked about, we talked about the Circle K and the backing out, and you led me to believe, and I think it's the case, that that's still actually on the table, and that may happen, but it's gonna be at some point in time in the future.
I
Is
can't
that correct?
control what Circle K. I could do is accept their offer and enter their contract. They went so far as to submit engineered drawings, because I didn't know exactly where they wanted their boundary lines. They had to fully design their store, and then they backed out after they had told us that the light moving wasn't a problem. That was the excuse they presented. I immediately said, okay, let me buy your corner from you, and let us control it. And they said, no, it's too good of a store for us. We want to see what happens with the light. So I said, okay, well, there might not be land for you to build on if I do something else. So that conversation's ongoing. But as these deals go, they take
Yeah.
dealing with a group like Circle K. The intent of that signage was just to kind of consolidate and clean that up. And I believe it was the staff's idea to create that public shopping center-like look and feel to that center drive.
Okay. If we make a motion to approve with the condition that the signage has to be approved by the staff, can we?
That's okay, that's
make
all,
that
okay.
condition?
It would be either way, honestly.
I'd rather it be in the record than
And
off the record.
that's fine if you want to do it that way.
Disagree, but with the notes that are on that plat, then it would be approved one way. Without the notes, then it would be approved a different way. So what I'm saying is the notes are, we would have to we would consider it as a commercial center without those, without that common signage plan on there. It would be considered, each one would be considered separately with those regulations that apply to one business on one lot.
But all those signs would come back to be looked at and approved by staff.
Yes.
They're not gonna just be able to put up signage, that's my point. So they will be reviewed and have possibly architectural review if they don't pass staff architectural review as well.
All righty.
Mr. Chairman, based on that decision there, I would I would make a motion of approval without the notes.
I would like to add to that, if I can, the signage needs to be approved by staff, even though so it's on record. We have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you, sir. That concludes all of our agenda items for this month, or this meeting. I don't Don't have any public comments at this time. Mr. Poole?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'd like to invite everybody to join us for the Snowball Festival at the Ice House Amphitheater. It's 4 days long. Includes craft fair, carol lighting ceremony, carnival rides, movies, a parade, and more. It starts on Thursday, December 1st, and just tomorrow, and wraps up with the parade down Main Street on Sunday. For details on the events for each day, visit icehouseamphitheater.com. And also, on December 1st starts the Downtown Scavenger Hunt. This is the third year that we've participated with downtown restaurants. And there's a different Santa ornament at each restaurant on Main Street, and you can match the ornament that's placed in the window or in some obvious place in the restaurant with the restaurant on the form. You can download the form by visiting lexsc.com. And then you turn it into Town Hall by December 30th, and that gives a chance to win a number of prizes. Last year, the prizes were pretty nice. A lot of the restaurants donated gift cards, and they were put together in gift baskets with some swag from the town. I also want to remind everybody that the police department is holding their annual Toys for Tot campaign, and that'll go through December 8th, and you can participate by donating a new unwrapped toy for those in need. They will be accepting toys at Ice House Amphitheater during the Snowball Festival, or you can follow the police Facebook page, Lexington Police Department, to see where they'll be at. They move around daily to different locations, and this year one of the things they're doing is trying to fill up a pontoon boat with toys. So they're towing that around with signage on it, and you can bring your toy and put it in the boat.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else from staff? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor, please raise your right hand. We are adjourned. Thank you for watching the Town of Lexington Planning Commission in action. This meeting was held at Town Hall at 8 a.m. Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. A recording of this meeting will be aired several times during the week on the Town of Lexington's information channel 1301 and can be viewed online at the Town of Lexington YouTube channel. On behalf of the Town of Lexington Planning Commission and staff, I wish you a good day.